afternoon everybody and welcome to the Museum of Oxford's Lightning Talk. My name is Helen Foutain, I'm the Reminiscence Officer at the Museum of Oxford, and this is my colleague Antonia Harland-Lang, who is the Community Engagement Officer. You might be wondering why the Museum of Oxford is featured in this University Museums Conference, but hopefully this goes well, it will all become very clear. So, the Museum of Oxford is a local history museum. It's run by Oxford City Council and it's located in Oxford Town Hall. It tells the story of the history of Oxford really from prehistoric times up to the present day. In 2009, two new posts were created at the Museum of Oxford. My post, the Reminiscence Officer post, and Antonia's post, Community Engagement Officer. The idea behind this was to try and increase the reach of the community engagement that all the museums could offer. These posts were seconded from the university museums and really have created some fantastic opportunities for partnership working. I'm going to hand over to Antonia now, who's going to speak a bit more about her role.
Hi everyone. So in my role as Community Engagement Officer at the Museum of Oxford, I work with a wide variety of groups. You can see some up there on the quite busy slide, but I wanted to get across a sense of the fact that we really try and work with lots and lots of different types of people and types of groups at the museum. So that could be anything from youth groups inside and outside formal education. So you can see some young people from the Virtual School for Looked After Children engaged in one of our art projects in the top left-hand corner. We work with groups like the Oxford Hindu Temple Project. You can see one of our digital projects in the bottom left-hand corner there. And a real variety of adults who, for various reasons, might not otherwise have the opportunity to get involved in a museum project. So we ran a film project on Cowley Road as part of our East Oxford From Above project last year with a group of adults with learning disabilities from the County Learning and Skills Service. So why do we do this? Well, we've got a variety of reasons. Obviously, as we all know, Oxford is an incredibly culturally rich city with lots and lots of amazing museums, cinemas, music venues. I could go on. But it's also a city with substantial inequalities in life expectancy, in educational attainment. So really we aim in our way to increase access to cultural experiences in Oxford. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of partnerships that I've worked on over the last couple of years, very briefly. Sorry. Okay, so these are just a few of the community projects that we've worked on over the last few years. And our current project, The Lost Voices of Oxford's Great War, on the left over there, is a project which is Heritage Lottery funded and involves a number of partnerships. And I should say that from our point of view as community outreach officers, the key partnership really that we build is the one with our participants. So we really see all participants that we work with as active partners in our projects. So in The Lost Voices of Oxford's Great War, we are working with a variety of groups, a volunteer team of researchers who will be researching First World War stories specifically local to Oxford. And we're also working in partnership with a local theatre company called Under Construction Theatre, and they will be creating with the museum a series of intergenerational workshops looking at different aspects of Oxford's First World War heritage, ranging from childhood through to being recruited as a soldier, through to the town hall's history as a part of the 3rd Southern General Hospital, the main military hospital in Oxford. And Under Construction Theatre will be working with participants in the museum to create an original piece of theatre that will be performed next year in the town hall. So we're really excited about the new dimension that that adds to a community drama and research project. See if I can manage it this time. So community exhibitions, as Helen said, we've got permanent spaces at the Museum of Oxford and also a temporary gallery. And the work that Helen and I do generally feeds into a community exhibition And as I said, our participants are very much active partners in our projects, and we try and hand over as much power as possible to participants so that they can be involved in every step of the way, from community research through to the research for the exhibition panels, through to putting the panels up in the gallery, through to creating artwork. And the example I've got at the top there is East Oxford from Above, which was a project in partnership with English Heritage, again Heritage Lottery funded, and that was an example of a really productive national partnership which provided the museum and the participants we were working with the opportunity to work on an aerial photography project, which was very uniquely local in its focus. We were looking at East Oxford, but because of the national Britain from Above project that English Heritage were running, participants had the opportunity to engage in a more national conversation, looking at aerial photos from across the country and using the English Heritage website to respond to photos online and to talk about the work that they were doing at the Museum of Oxford as part of the East Oxford from Above exhibition. So I'll hand over to Helen.
Thank you very much. So, as we already mentioned, I'm the Reminiscence Officer. I was asked to speak about this on the radio once, and I thought I'll plan what I'm going to say. So I was going to say, I've got the best job title and the best job in the world. And when the lady introduced me, she said, "This is Helen Foutain. She's got the best job in the world, the best job title." So I was completely stumped. I didn't know what to say. But the whole interview just saying what she had said afterwards. It was very embarrassing. Anyway, the main core of the Reminiscence work is the outreach service. You can see some pictures of groups in action there. I go out into the community and deliver Reminiscence sessions, object-based, around a theme, to around about 120 groups a year. And we reach about 1,500 people in this way. What's really lovely about this is that a lot of these folks couldn't come to the museum, even if they really wanted to, they couldn't get there. So it's really nice to be able to take the museum out to them and work with them in that way. It became apparent quite early on that some people, though, could get to the museum and were very, very keen to engage with the museum on a slightly deeper level. So we set up a group at the museum called Memory Lane. As you can see from the poster, and some of you will know because I've worked with you, it's been a great opportunity to work in partnership with other venues and some of the university sites. You can see there the Botanic Gardens. We've also been to the Radcliffe Infirmary and the University Church. Museums, Reminiscence projects and exhibitions, intergenerational work. We record Memory Lane, so we're able to use some of those recordings on the listening post in our exhibitions. This worked particularly well with the East Oxford from Above project. We've also worked on one-off projects. Last year it was the Maurice Motors Centenary, so we did a series of events with about 8 different partners, and it culminated in a Radio Oxford documentary, which was fantastic for the participants. Museums and the Wellbeing Agenda. It became apparent very early on that people were getting a real positive benefit from taking part in these projects and these sessions. So we're very keen to try and get some funding to work with the Oxford Institute for Population Ageing to try and get some really robust research done into this area of work. So just quickly back to Antonia.
Well, thank you very much for listening, everyone. We just wanted to finish with our upcoming project, 40 Years, 40 Objects, which we'll be working on over the next year, and it really brings together some of the community work that Helen and I have been talking about. And it's a big community collecting project where we'll be looking to collect stories from Oxford that reflect its history over the last 40 years. And really all of this is working towards new permanent galleries for the Museum of Oxford, because we're passionate about continuing an ongoing conversation with local groups so that the work they produce, it's not just a time-bound project, it's something that will feed into galleries that really reflect Oxford as it is today and all of its diversity and community richness. So thank you for listening.